Welcome once again to our morning devotions, experiencing God through the seasons of life. Our devotion this morning is going to come from the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 24. And the title of our devotion is Strange Widowhood. I will read in your hearing. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. This is a very strange story, but it leaves a woman without a husband. Enoch, because of his relationship with God, walked with God until he was no more, until God took him to heaven. We do not hear of God taking both Enoch and his wife, but God takes Enoch. And I don't know the following day or the following months or what happened or how she was explaining the absence of her husband. Whether she also knew or she understood what had happened. This woman represents many women in our communities today. Women whose husbands either have disappeared or women whose husbands are incarcerated. Every day you keep hoping one day he will come back. I want to believe this was the story for this woman, but maybe this one is different because she knew. But doesn't she, don't you know anyone who relates to this? Don't you also know someone whose husband just disappeared? This is a very strange widowhood, strange type of widowhood, where you don't know whether to mourn, whether there is closure. Can this situation have closure? You live for the rest of your life hoping one day my husband will reappear. But in life, there are things that happen that we have no control over. There are situations that we'll never understand. There are questions that we'll never get answers from. What exactly happened? What happened to my loved one? Are they still alive? Are they struggling some way? Are they dead? Are they okay? And I want to say to you this morning, this is something that belongs to God, for God knows every situation. Nothing escapes his eye. And we call that God's business. Whatever he allows to come our way, he knows how we are going to fare in that situation. It is God's business. He allows certain things to happen to us. Whether we feel they are okay or whether we feel it's unfair, but they have happened. It's a reality. It's a situation that someone is surviving with. You could be one of the people who has a situation that is no answer, that is no solution. But one thing that can help you to go ahead is realizing that God is bigger than your situation. And no situation, and any situation that is bigger than you is God's business. Then if God has allowed it, and it is God's business because it is his prerogative to choose what happens to us, to allow what happens to us. I always say God does not give a big horse to small soldier. You are a soldier par excellence because of the type of battle that is onto your plate. God allows you to go through it, but how then do you cope? How do you survive this? It's your business to know how to respond to what God will have allowed. Or you can choose to understand God's business by your response. Your response says it all. Your response says, Lord, I don't know anything. I don't understand this journey, but I want to trust that you know how I'm going to survive. Do you think God would have taken Enoch and ignored the widow? I don't think so. I'm sure this widow was well provided for. I'm sure this widow was always comforted somehow. I don't know how, but I want to believe God would not have loved Enoch to the extent of ignoring the widow. I want to believe that even in this situation, as we read it, and this widow is left with children to live alone, to journey alone until the second coming. That's maybe when they are going to meet with Enoch. You might also be one of those widows who is going through life alone, and God is saying he is right there with you. God is going to hold your hand. I believe in our Christian journey, what we call enjoying peace is not when everything is okay. It's when things are as bad as your situation and you allow yourself to experience the presence of God in your life. Whatever else then people will say, it's none of your business. You shouldn't concern yourself about what people think. But I think what you should concern yourself is the one who has allowed you to go into that situation. His purposes are much greater than you. And he knows how he's going to help you walk through the difficult situation. May the Lord bless you. May He comfort you. Whether you are going to find a solution, whether you're going to find an answer, but for the period that you are walking alone, may you trust the Lord, knowing that He cares. He's doing something, and He surely is there, right there with you. Because for the promises that He gives to every widow, He also gives them to you. May the Lord bless you and comfort you as you walk with the Lord and trust Him for His business in your life.